All right, take two. You know, when you get started with something brand new, you will always have some kinks and hiccups. So today we're going to talk about the mass shootings in El Paso and Ohio. And I wanted to be respectful to the families and not talk about it too soon and too quick. I didn't want to be like the politicians that want to jump in on gun control day one. I wanted to give my opinion, but I wanted to wait until after everything kind of calmed down a little bit, give the families some due time that they need. And I know they're still hurting, and I know their lives have been changed forever. My condolences and sincere love is sent to everyone affected. Okay, so let's jump right into the topic. I am from Texas originally. I currently live in Virginia. We had a mass shooting few months back in Virginia Beach, and I watched firsthand how that changes an entire community. For the month after it happened, that's all anybody and everybody was talking about. It's kind of calmed down a little bit now. However, you know, it still affects a whole entire community. So I've seen firsthand how and what happens to the people around the community in which one of these incidents happens. And I'm gonna be able to give you a firsthand, you know, impression of how I feel about it. Not that I was actually involved. I was actually in Virginia Beach that day, but I was nowhere close to where it happened. Thank God. Okay. So, being from Texas, I feel for the people in El Paso, and being around it, I personally feel for those folks that are in, you know, Ohio that have been affected. Having said all that, what does that mean for someone like me, and probably you if you're watching my channel, as a prepper, a homesteader, or somebody looking to move into more of a plant-based lifestyle? Well, it's really going to affect us on the prepping side and the homesteading side. The first thing that happens when a situation like this goes down, the politicians jump in and they want to have a discussion about gun control. Now, I got to give you guys some perspective on how I feel about guns. I'm from Texas, so that should tell you something right there. That's number one. Number two, I'm prior military. That should tell you something right there. So, what does that tell you? It tells you that I've probably been around guns all my life, and if I was in the military, I've handled guns. So, I'm not going to tell you guys, you know, my personal collection, if I have any. If not, it's not really any of your business. But I am a strong proponent of guns due to, I believe that the rights of the individuals should be allowed to protect themselves. Case in point, if there were 1 to 2, maybe 3 individuals, and I'm just speaking from my perspective, okay? If there were 1 to 3 individuals that were armed during our Virginia Beach shooting, it's very possible that lives could have been saved that day. I'll give you another example. Let's say that you're at home. Let's say we have 2 families, okay, in this example. One family is at home and they have an intruder that breaks into their house. They are armed with a telephone. The second family, they're at home and they have an intruder come into their house, but they're armed with firearms. Now, in scenario 1, you call 911, and depending on where you live, how close a responding officer can get there, and how brave that individual is, depends on how fast the response, what happens when he or she gets there, and if your family lives or dies. It's just the way it is what it is. In scenario 2, where you have an intruder and the house is armed with a firearm, well, guess what? Now you have a potential of saving your own family. That's always the possibility of you getting yourself killed. But in those 2 scenarios, I'd much rather be in scenario 2 where I have a fighting chance as opposed to be in scenario 1 when it might take 3, 5, 7 minutes for a responding officer to get there. Now, you guys, I mean, regardless of how you feel about firearms, in those 2 scenarios, you got to side with having a chance. You know, I've always learned never take a knife to a gunfight. Because you know for a fact if somebody is bold enough to break into your house, then more than likely they're armed. Now, let's take it to another scenario. I remember, I don't know if this is the 80s or the 90s, but being from Texas, it was all over the news. A local restaurant named Luby's, and a person came in there and started shooting. And there was a young lady that, not sure if she was concealed license carry or she had just left her gun at home, but something happened and she didn't have her weapon with her. And she faulted herself because her mom was killed that day. And she knows for a fact that if she had her firearm, and she owned a firearm, she just didn't have it with her. She knew for a fact that if she had her firearm that day, she would have been able to stop that gunman and at least save her I think it was her dad. At least say, well, one of her parents. I can't remember the details of the story, but I know it's one of her parents that got killed. So she knows for a fact that she would have been able to stop the gunman, and she knows for a fact that she would have been able to save her parents. So it goes back to what I'm saying as far as being a prepper, being a homesteader, because most of the time when you have a homestead, and like myself, I'm building or trying to build to the point where I can buy land in the country or buy a house in the suburbs outside of the city, you know, 1 to 3, 5, 10 acres, and build a homestead. And that is my goal. That's my ultimate goal. I'm trying to get there. Now, right now, like I tell you guys all the time, we live in an urban area. And in the urban area that we live in, those things, we have shootings all the time in my area. You know, I hear gunshots all the time. It's like we hear them now, and it doesn't even alarm us anymore. It happens so frequently, and I guess we've gotten so comfortable, which is sad, with hearing gunshots that it's just second nature now. So, what does that really ultimately mean for us as preppers, us as potential homesteaders? Well, of course, it's going to come out with the gun, you know, the gun debate. You know, should we ban assault rifles? Should we do this? Should we do that? Well, I'm gonna tell you this. However you feel about guns, wherever you're on the side of for guns or against guns, remember this. I've never seen, and maybe you're different, I've never seen a gun pull a trigger and kill anybody. I've never seen a knife stab anyone. I've never seen a car that was sitting still run over anybody. In every scenario I mentioned, it takes a human being to pull the trigger, to stab with the knife, to run somebody over with the car. It takes a human being to do that. And I'm gonna tell you this. Why does this keep happening? Why does this keep happening? Well, I'm gonna bring some plant-based theories into this now. We are so disconnected from each other. We as humans. And a great documentary I want you guys to go and watch is called Earthlings Documentary. Go watch that, and once you get finished watching that, if you don't walk away saying we are terrible at being humans, you're probably part of the problem and not the solution. You're probably part of the problem, not solution. It's called Earthlings Documentary. You can find it on YouTube. Maybe I'll put a link down below so you can just click on it from my channel. But if you can watch that hour and 36-minute documentary and you walk away and you're fine with the way you live and find the way that we live as humans, it might be something wrong with you. And I said that to say this. When you start eating more of a plant-based diet, when you start bumping up your biophotons, when you start getting more sunlight, when you start getting out in nature and you start appreciating Gaia, Mother Earth, you will start appreciating all life. Except, of course, for mosquitoes and flies and roaches. That I still have yet to understand why they were created. Well, roaches, yeah, they clean up all the garbage. Flies, I'm not really sure why flies are around. I guess they feed frogs. Anyway, I digress. When you start eating more of a plant-based diet, when you bump up your pH in your water, when you start drinking high pH water, things will start changing in your life. You will start seeing things a lot different. You will start appreciating life more. You will become a different person, a different creature. And when that happens, you will start to understand things, and then you'll start to really not understand a whole bunch. But the more you learn, the more you'll understand that you don't know. And I know I said a mouthful there. But I said that to say this. We have lost our connection. We as humans. We have lost our connection to our planet, which is Mother Earth Gaia. We have lost our connection to each other. We have lost our connection to everything living. Why do you think animals live in such harmony? Isn't it amazing how you can see a pack of deer and, you know, one gets spooked, they all get spooked. It's like we have dogs. We have 5 little Yorkies. One of them bark, all of them bark. You know, one of them run this way, they all run this way. It's amazing to me how they can communicate with each other without speaking. And just start watching animals, start watching insects, watch the birds. They communicate on a level that we're not even aware of anymore. And that's because they're connected. We're not. We're the only species that will just openly kill each other for no apparent reason at all. And it's such a sad situation that we're in, that we've gotten so numb to the fact that another human being can take a human being's life. And it's almost to the point where we're getting too comfortable with it. So that's and I had notes written down, but I'm going off on a tangent. Why does this keep happening? Because we're not connected. We don't love each other anymore. We don't love. The human race does not love the way we should and ought to. So what's the answer? What do you need to do? Well, I'm gonna tell you what I do, and you can adapt this if you want to or not. I choose to live in empowerment. I choose not to be scared. I still take my wife to the movies every now and then. I still go grocery shopping. I still do the things that I do. However, I am always diligently watching. Okay? I'm always diligently watching. And when we go to the movies, I strategically place us in a position that if anything pops off, we can get out. When we go out to dinner, I strategically place us to a point where we have an exit. When we go shopping, I'm constantly watching, because if anything goes down, I want to make sure we can get away. And I suggest you do the same, because you never know. You never ever know when something's going to go down. But you can always be somewhat prepared if they do. Now, do I open carry? And Virginia's an open carry state. I don't do that. I love when I see people open carrying, but I choose not to, simply because the time that we live in right now. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of nervous to open carry because of law enforcement. And I used to be law enforcement. I was military police in the military, which is a whole nother problem, whole nother subject. And the very next time we have a police-involved shooting, I'm sure I'll do a video on that and post that. But to be honest with you, I'm nervous because I don't want to have myself involved in a situation where I'm challenged by the police for a right that I'm exercising. And because of my work schedule, I really can't do that during the daytime. And the evenings, yeah, I could carry. But what should we do? What should we do as a nation? What should we do as a world? What should we do as a human race, as a people? And what should you do as someone who is trying to get into a prepper lifestyle, homestead lifestyle, or a plant-based lifestyle? Well, I keep saying this, and I'm gonna keep saying it until the day I die. Get to the point where you're starting to grow some of your own food. Because if you start growing your own food, you will be growing organic vegetables and fruits for yourself and for your family. That's number one. If you do that, by default, you will start bumping up your biophotons. If y'all don't know what that is, maybe I need to do a video about biophotons, which is the coherent sunlight energy that all living things have stored in their cells, okay, in the center of their cells, which allows us to be connected. That's all it is. And this is scientifically proven. So start growing some of your own food. Start taking care of your family to the point where if anything happens, i.e. a storm, few days of civil unrest, whatever, make sure you have at least minimum, listen to me very carefully, minimum, you need to have 7 days minimum of food and water. 7 days food and water for every person and animal that lives in your house. Minimum. That is like the bare necessity. And I know FEMA recommends 3, but I'm gonna tell you this: you get to day number 4 and you don't have food and water for your family, especially water. Now you can go by. I've done 43-day fast. You can go by without food. But under a stressful situation or scenario, you better doggone well be sure that you got water for everybody. Okay? Don't live in fear. Do not live in fear. Live with power. Live with a sound mind. Do not. I refuse to allow you to live in fear. Fear is only false evidence appearing real. And if you think about that statement, false evidence appearing real, it means it's not even real and you're scared of it. Which is crazy to me. Okay? So start stocking up. Start growing some of your own food. And when you start working your own land, whether it's the backyard of your own house, or if you put some things in pots and start to grow them. And that's one thing I'm going to do here in the near future. I'm going to show you guys some of the things I grow in pots. Because you'd be very surprised some of the food that you can produce in pots or containers. I'm going to show that. As a matter of fact, I'll do that sometime in the next few days. I will do a video and show you guys how to grow food in pots. And start to learn how to take the things that you buy in the grocery store and start reproducing them. Save seeds. You know what? But that's a whole separate video. I'll do another video. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate all my new subscribers. I'm gonna do a video thanking all the new people for joining. I'm gonna try to do that once a week where I just come in. I'm gonna call you guys individually by name and just thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you guys. This is a brand new channel. And I'm up to 22 subscribers right now. I woke up this morning, I went from like 19 to 22. That's huge for me. 3 subscribers in the morning, that's like really big. Okay, so I'm excited about it. Thank you guys, I appreciate you. And if you like the content that I'm putting out, please subscribe, like, share. Put the content. If you like my videos, put them out on your social media and help me grow. Also, make some comments. And if you don't like something I say, hey, I'm not gonna bash you or block you or whatever, and I've already gotten trolls. It's cool. If you don't like it, just say you don't like it and let's talk about it. Because we're here. I put this channel up because I want to learn, I want to teach, and I want to help you. I want you to help somebody, because it's all about each one teach one. As I learn, I teach. And that's the best way you learn, because if you haven't learned it to the point where you can teach it, you don't know it. So, thank you guys for being here. As always, I love you enough to tell you the truth. Y'all be blessed. Take care and have a wonderful, awesome, fantabulous day.